get off into the story. I was 16 years old when I caught herpes. Before I turned 16, I was in group homes. You know, those little homes that your parent puts you in because you're bad and you don't listen. I was one of those girls. I was very crazy, okay? I was my mom's worst child. You can even ask her. She'll tell you for herself. Because I was running the streets and I was on ankle bracelets and I wasn't paying attention and I wasn't listening. And I had to learn the hard way. So, yeah, I was in those group homes for almost a year, and they test you in there. Mind you, I wasn't really doing anything like that. I was just running the streets. I wasn't, going crazy, because I already had a kid by then. I didn't want to get pregnant again or whatever the case may be. Test me for everything. HIV, herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, trichomonas, any disease that's out there, you name it, hepatitis, whatever. Right? So I didn't have herpes when I was in that home. Okay, I didn't have nothing. Everything was good. Everything was clear. I would go home on weekend visits, but most of the time I wasn't able to because you have to earn that. And I was very rude to some of the staff. I also had a bad visit with my mom one weekend, so they told me that I couldn't go on a visit with my mom. So I had to stay in the group home a lot of the weekends because I was a bad kid. When I finally got out, they let me out because I had a kid and they felt like I needed to be a mom. So I got out earlier than most women that was in that group home. I mean, it's a good thing that they do that because I was a mom at the end of the day. I was a teen, but I was a mom. So I get home and I don't do anything. I just stay in the house and I go to school. I end up going to a school that the high school provided, which was like either cosmetology or welding or criminal justice. I took cosmetology because at that time I like to do hair and nails. I'm Asian. That's what we like to do. I met this dude on the cosmetology bus. He seemed like he was like the sweetest thing. I'm telling you, like he was the sweetest thing. And I think he was going to school for criminal justice. I sat in my seat every time we got on the little BOCES bus or whatever to go to our school so we could take up our trade or whatever the case may be. End up exchanging numbers the 5th time sitting next to each other on the bus because he always kept sitting next to me for some reason, which I was okay with that. He was cool. He was from Nigeria or some part of Africa. He had a little accent, but you could hear what he's saying, but you couldn't really understand all the way, but you could understand what he was saying. I said, this is dope. I'm mixed. So both my family have accents, especially on the Jamaican side. So I never discriminated. So we did exchange numbers, and he used to always text me and say, oh, you're so beautiful, you're this. Thank you is what I would say. And then he used to always ask to chill with me, and I used to always tell him no, because I just got out of placement. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to stay in the house and be a mom. This is why they let me out of that group home. Then one day, I got bored. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of sitting in the house or whatever the case may be. I said, okay, I can chill with you today. So I leave my house. He picks me up. We go to his cousin's house, not even his real house at that time, at that point. And he starts to get the touching and feeling after we had a couple shots. I wasn't really a drinker or any of that, but that day I was feeling myself, okay? I was just young and dumb and stupid at that point. I was just feeling myself, being a regular human, whatever the case may be. And he was like kissing on me and stuff like that, my neck, my shoulders, rubbing my leg and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, what is he trying to do? I'm a little nervous. My heart is racing, beating right out of my chest. He said, come on, come with me. And I'm just like, where are we going? He wants to bring us in the room. So I go in the room. He cuts off the light. But me being all, turned up, whatever the case may be, I wasn't looking. So we're in the dark. He's putting his protection on or whatever the case may be, because I don't do it without it at that point because I didn't want to have a kid. I didn't think about the STDs. I just thought about not having another kid because I was already a young mom. We already know when you're a young mom, you don't want to have a lot of the minions running around, okay? He puts his protection on, and I'm the type to put it in. So I felt it, and I put it in. He was like some type of pain, but I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, okay, maybe it's too tight on him. Maybe it's not his size, because a lot of guys buy sizes that's not even their size, so it might hurt a little bit. It might cut off the circulation. So I didn't think nothing of it. I'm young, okay? I'm young. I'm still learning at this point. Everything was going good. We did the whoop-de-whoop, Everything was good, okay? Everything was good. He fed me after. Then he had to go get his daughter. So we go to his house. He had to go grab something. His original house, not his cousin's house. He went to his original house. So I know where he lived. He lived right around the corner from me. And I got to meet his little daughter. She was so pretty. She was the cutest thing in the world. And then he dropped me off home, but he came upstairs and walked me to the door and also came inside of my house and met my mom, gave her a hug and told her how good of a person that I am and how beautiful that I am. And my mom was like, oh, thank you, being respectful. And he was being respectful. And then he left and he got back in the car with his daughter and his cousin. And then next thing you know, a couple days later, that's what rubbed me the wrong way. That's when everything started, y'all. Excruciating pain. So bad, I couldn't get out of my bed. I couldn't open my eyes. It was really bad. I thought that I was catching a flu or some type of disease out there that I could have caught from touching something. I didn't know what was going on, but I'm thinking that I'm good because I got tested when I was in a group home, and then I get out of the group home and I sleep with a person with protection, and the protection didn't protect me. But I didn't think nothing of that at that point because I used protection. My mom said, you need to go to the doctor because I had a rash back there. I had a rash in the back, okay? A really bad one. It was so red, it looks like I had an allergic reaction. So I asked my mom, what kind of soap did you use? Did you use something different? She says, no. So I'm like, Mom, I have to go to the doctor. And she also agreed. So she got me in the car, sitting in the car sideways because it hurt so bad, whatever was going on with me at that point. She drove me to the doctor. They looked down there and they did tell me that it looks kind of strange. So they did swab that area that was looking kind of weird, and then they drew my blood. So I had to go do both. She said, if we call you back, then something's wrong. If we don't call you back, everything is good. Okay, so a couple days later after she tested me, she called me back. When she called me back, my heart was beating out of my chest. I'm like, oh my God, what is this woman about to tell me? Can you come in? So I go. I said, Mom, they told me I have to come in. So she brings me. She's in the waiting room. I go into the actual clinic. Like, I'm in a room with a big old clipboard. And I'm like, what is she about to tell me? Is it going to be something serious? Because she just tested me for STDs. And she told me if there's a problem, she will call me back. And she called me back. She looked me dead in my eyes, y'all. She said, you tested positive for HSV2. I just remember this moment like it was yesterday. I fell down to the ground, cried so bad. She's like, everything's gonna be okay. I asked her, can I have kids? She said, you're able to have kids. Everything's gonna be all right. In that moment, I didn't feel like everything was all right. If you really think about it, herpes does not go away. This is something that you're telling me that I have and I'm gonna forever have. It's not something I could take a pill for and it disappears. It's not something that I could just shake off. I can't shake this off. I cannot come back from this. I'm new to this. I don't know if this is going to look all crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to spread to my mouth? Is it going to stop me from living? I wasn't really educated. She had to call my mom. Come in here. Your daughter is in pain. She's stressed. She's sweating. She's crying. Can you please help us? So my mom comes in there, she talks to me. She said, baby, we gotta go home. We cannot sit here all day. So she gets me up, I wipe all my tears. I'm in the car, I'm just not even saying anything. I'm quiet the whole ride home because I'm devastated as to what they told me because I know this is for life. And people always say, you didn't get herpes from anybody, you got it from the meat. First of all, I don't eat raw meat. Even if it did have a disease in the meat, I don't eat nothing raw. I make sure it's cooked. And once it's cooked, all the disease is gone. You don't just catch a disease from eating chicken that's cooked. That's just nonsense, And then when they say, oh, everybody has herpes, that is not true. Everybody does not have herpes. Who told you people this? You guys need to be educated. I'm glad that I know what I know now because now I'm educated. Let me keep going on with the story. So I get home, right? After being quiet the whole ride home, pick up my phone, and the first person that I call is him. So I call him, and I say, did you give me herpes? Did you know that you had herpes? Why you didn't tell me you had herpes? I had so many questions for him. I said, can you please provide me with a test result? Because he kept saying, oh, no, 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 I don't have herpes. They test me at my job for herpes. They do not test you for herpes at a job. They test you for everything else, like a background check and a screening or whatever the case may be, but never an STD. They are not allowed to do that. What, you thought I was dumb? Oh, he never provided me with a test. I ended up meeting a girl that was in the same high school that said that he gave it to her. So obviously he's the person who's giving out the herpes. And I stopped talking to him. I blocked him off of Facebook and all the social medias that was associated with him. Blocked his number. He even changed his number. He stopped going to high school, which was a red flag, because why would you leave high school if you didn't give nobody herpes? And then I run into him years later in my parking lot. His car's here. My car's here. I get out of my car. He's getting out of his car. What's up? You thought you were going to run away for that long and not see me again? And we're in the same town, a small town at that, New York, okay? Upstate New York at this point. And you're going to give me a disease and you think you're never going to see me again? I didn't want to do anything wrong, but I wanted to make sure that he remembered me. Because at the end of the day, you are wrong. You could have saved my life. You could have gave me an option. I wasn't given an option, and that's why I come on this platform, because I can give you an option. I can give you all the knowledge that I didn't know before. Knowledge that I wish that I did know before I even lay down and did what I did. But I take accountability for my actions. I'm not just on here just to get sympathy, because I don't need sympathy, okay? I come on here to make sure that you're not going to walk in my shoes. This is for the young girls, the young guys, the older generation. This is for everybody. I want to make sure everybody hear me, even Donald Trump. Okay? I love you guys. Make sure you guys stay tested. Make sure you guys keep it 100. Shows that we ain't gonna stand shit.
Signs your partner might actually have HSV. So you recently went to go get tested. You got your test results back. They are positive. Now you have to tell your current partner that you have HSV and that they should get tested, right? If you immediately tell them and they don't ask any questions, and maybe the one question they ask is, are you sure you have it? Are you sure? And they're also extremely calm. Now, this is from personal experience. And this is also from me learning other people's experiences too. Now, while I understand what HSV is, I cannot sit here and say that if I were dating a man and he told me he just got tested and he was positive, that I wouldn't panic slightly when I initially find out, right? Again, right now I'm okay because I understand and I've come to terms with it. But I'm talking about when you first find out. We all know how we feel when we first find out, right? We panic, okay? It's overwhelming. A lot of different emotions. You're not asking any questions. They don't ask, let me see your results. When's the last time you've been tested? How often do you get tested? Who else are you sleeping with? How many people have you slept with recently? Right? Did you have any symptoms? What prompted you to go get tested? Did you have an outbreak of some sorts? The person you were with gave you herpes.
Oh my God. I literally just watched a video about how
this girl literally caught hell. Like, when I say hell, like hell, like everything you can think of under the sun, this man done did that. Like, I can't even call him a man. Like,
Story time, story time. So this is the day that I ran into my infector and he wanted to shoot me that same day. I'm in my parking lot, right? I'm about to go to the liquor store to go get me something to drink, right? I'm about to put my car in reverse, okay? This man is getting out of his car. I'm not knowing who it is until I looked over and I seen that it was the dude that gave me herpes when I was 16 that I have never seen again after that. He just disappeared. He fell off the map and we was in high school together. So that was very suspect, right? So I get out my car, I pull out my camera because I wanted to make sure this was a lifetime memory because you gave me herpes and that was a lifetime memory. As I get out the car, I start introducing myself again. So he's looking all scared. He's digging in his pocket and I'm not thinking nothing of it. I had nothing to lose at that point, even though I did really have something to lose because I had kids. So I had a lot of things to lose. And he's digging in his pocket. I got the phone in my hand, right? The camera, and I'm recording him. I'm letting the world know this is the person who did this to me. And I feel like he didn't really do much. He didn't pull it out. It's because people were out there and he probably was scared and he had to think twice, like, damn, who else does she have over here? I guess he felt like I was gonna set him up, which I should have, honestly, because you should have never did that to me at a young age, and you should have gave me an option. I never was given an option. You cut off the lights, you infected me, you dropped out of school, and I finally see you again. Of course, I'm gonna wanna set you up. I'm not even the type of person to do that, all right? And my mama always told me, 2 wrongs don't make a right. But yeah, so he was digging in his pocket, trying to dig for whatever he was looking for. I think he was trying to make sure that I wasn't gonna do anything, which, if you didn't infect me, why would you feel that way? Think about it. But yeah, y'all, this is the night I almost got shot. I almost got shot by the guy who infected me with herpes. So moral of the story, I could have lost my life from a dude that infected me. You guys gotta always be careful. I know I lived in the same town as him when I exposed him, and it could have went left because he could have found out where I lived or whatever the case may be. But also, it could have went left on his end because I could have called whoever I had to call at that moment. So either way, we both was in.
My fiance gave me herpes, and this is why I don't care, but also the story as to how I got it. I got this herpes last week. My fiance had herpes on her lips, and I decided to just make out with her because she's so freaking beautiful, and I did not care about her herpes on her lips. You must be saying, like, Alexa, you're wild. Let me back up a couple years. I was basically born with herpes. My mom has herpes. My brother has herpes. I grew up with herpes all around my household. I've only had 2 breakouts my whole life until this one. I haven't had a breakout since I was 15 years old. So I guess I had herpes confidence. I just didn't think I would get it again. It's been 15 years and I did. And guess what? It's not the end of the world. It'll go away. A lot of people in the world have it. It's not herpes. I will be okay, and so will you. This herpes, also known commonly as cold sores. I'm here to normalize herpes, and every time I have a cold sore, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk about it. The internet does not understand how I'm not ashamed, why I'm not hiding, because I have this thing on my lips. I will continue to make TikTok videos, guys. if I have 5 of these on my face. I'm human. Yes, it is disgusting. It is gross. It's not cute. I'm human. You fart. There's so many things that we do as human beings that are not hot or sexy.
Technically, you could sue someone knowingly gave it to you. Potentially that could.
Have you ever been friends with someone and later find out that they secretly hate you? I met this girl at my 25th birthday party through a friend who she was actually in a relationship with. So let's call this friend Erica. Erica's girlfriend was Delilah. Erica and Delilah break up. Me and Erica have a falling out. Delilah and I bonded over the fact that we had a mutual feeling about Erica, which is that she was weird as hell. Me and Delilah got fairly close. She would come and visit me. We would talk about God together, although I later found out we weren't talking about the same God. One day we decided to go to this day party and she said she would drive. On the way there, she said she needed to meet up with her brother to exchange something. So we meet up with him, she gets out the car, and as she's walking back, he's walking with her. He introduces himself to me, said that he had seen me on social media and wanted to know what I looked like in person. I didn't think much of the encounter, and as we're on our way to the day party, Delilah gets a text from her brother. Let's call her brother Marcus. Marcus says, "Hey Delilah, I want you to hook me up with your friend." She shows me the message and says, "Hey, I think you guys would mesh well together. You both have similar mindsets. He's very successful, yada, yada, yada." I was in and out of an ongoing relationship, but hey, we're all single till we're married, right? So we exchanged numbers, go on a few dates. After about the second date, I started to notice red flags. I run it by Delilah and she's like, "Oh, that's just how he is. He had a very traumatic childhood. Be patient with him." A few weeks later, my sister was having a procedure done in Miami, so we decided to make it a family vacation. Marcus wasn't happy with my response to his red flags, so he decided to give me the silent treatment. While I'm there, I'm strolling on Twitter and I see that Marcus is dating this girl that I follow. Let's call her Casey. Casey just so happens to be my ex-boyfriend's first cousin. Let's call him Caleb. At the time, Delilah and Marcus weren't on good terms, so she confirmed what I seen on Twitter. She even included the fact that it had been said Marcus was involved with a gay guy who has an STD. I assumed she was just talking out of anger, but I also knew in that moment that she couldn't be trusted. Neither of them, actually. Once Marcus seen I was in Miami, he ended the fake silent treatment and called me. During the conversation, I asked about what I had seen on Twitter and what Delilah told me. Of course, he confirmed some stuff, but denied other stuff. However, I guess she was triggered because afterwards he said, "Well, since she's telling you everything, did she tell you the things that she said about you and that she's really not your friend?" So of course I'm like, no, what did she say about me? So he basically says that Delilah felt like I didn't respect her boundaries as a friend because I asked her about her finances. To be clear, I never asked Delilah about her finances. She was explaining to me at some point how business was slow and that she was having trouble paying her light bill, things of that nature. So when she found out that I was in Miami for my sister's procedure, she also told me that she had scheduled hers. Naturally, as someone who knew about her financial hiccups just 3 weeks prior, that didn't seem like a disrespectful question for me to ask. And to be honest, I was really asking because cut me in and cut it out. Marcus went on to tell me that Delilah also feels like I'm the type of person to keep information to myself in order to stay ahead of the people around me. That part to me was baffling because it literally never gave that from me to anybody, including her. Delilah was referring to a situation between her and I where I had this book that I had read thoroughly, highlighted the parts of the book that I felt like stood out, and notated things that I felt like I took from what I highlighted. She wanted to read the book, so I said, "Okay, cool, you can borrow the book. I just want it back." Apparently to her, she felt like since I had already read the book, I should just let her keep it. Weird, because why not just go buy the book? Why would you want to keep a book that I've read, highlighted, and made personal notations in from my perspective, what I took from the book? Marcus also added that there was a business opportunity that he was going to present to me, and before he did, he presented it to Delilah, and she told him not to present it to me. I later confronted Delilah about these accusations and things that she said about me. She confirmed and admitted to everything except the part about the business opportunity. Delilah apologized and said that she should have told me instead of telling them.
And by them, I mean she didn't just tell these things to Marcus about me. She told them to 3 or 4 other people at a gathering that Marcus had at his house one night. So I told Delilah, I respect the fact that you were honest, you admitted to it, but I just feel like, damn. Because now you've told several individuals this inaccurate information about me, individuals that I do not know and may not ever get to meet, that will have this preconceived notion about who I am as a person that is not true based off of what you've said about me to them. She agreed with me and apologized further, and I said, you know what, it's cool. We can move past it. But the next night I had a bad dream about Delilah, and in this dream, she was doing something to purposely deceive me. When I woke up from the dream, I just kept hearing, what did you do? What did you do? You need to ask her, what did she do? But I was telling myself, well, I already know what she did. But it was like, no, you need to ask her, what did she do? That morning, I called Delilah and I said, hey, could you be honest with me and tell me if you've ever done anything outside of what I already know to deceive me or to try to hurt me, or if it's anything that you have built up in your heart towards me that you feel about me that you've never really said or felt like you could say to me? She says, no, I honestly feel like you've been a big sister to me. But in that moment, I knew, okay, this is a situation, a relationship, a friendship that I have to fall back from. Once I see you in a dream, it's over with. At this point, she knew the vibes. I started to keep my distance from her and Marcus. One day, she calls me and says, you're not going to believe that Marcus is in jail for fleeing the police. So she gave me the whole spill, well, what she thought was the whole spill on what happened. A few days later, I get a call from Caleb that he was kind of stressed out. He said he just wanted to come over and talk and chill. Once Caleb gets to my house, I asked him what's going on with him, why is he stressed out? He says he just had to bond Casey out of jail for falsifying a police report about Marcus, and he feels horrible because he introduced Casey to Marcus. Apparently, the police report that Casey filed was about Marcus's car being stolen, but what was green about it is that that was the same car that Marcus was in when he was fleeing the police. The specific actions that Casey took prior to filing this police report is what led her to being arrested. But that is not my story to tell. Caleb had no idea that I had already heard about this story from Delilah, except Delilah didn't know the part about Casey being arrested. But of course, a few days later when Delilah found out, she called me and confirmed all the tea. Now, throughout this whole saga, up until this point, Caleb pretended to remain oblivious to knowing anything about me and Marcus dealing with each other. Now, in the back of my mind, I knew that he had known the whole time because, this is your first cousin who's dealing with a guy that I was dealing with, and pretty much at the same time. And if you guys haven't noticed by now, Caleb and Casey are fairly close. So finally, a few weeks later, I addressed the elephant in the room, which was Marcus, to Caleb. Because what? During this conversation, Caleb admits that of course he knew the whole time. But we knew that though. Now here's where things took a turn, because Caleb told me during this conversation that Casey just found out she was pregnant by Marcus. And during the process of finding out she was pregnant, she also found out that she had HSV too. Also from Marcus. Immediately after this conversation, I blocked, spammed, and deleted Delilah from my phone and every social media platform that I'm on. Because the fucking audacity of you to hook me up with someone who you know has herpes, brother or not. Given our history, it made total sense that she would want me to contract this disease. Even though I still to this day have never done anything malicious or ill to her, towards her, for her to want that for me. Anyway, I thank God for always working harder than my enemies and the traps that they may set for me, as well as making me aware of the ill intentions that the people around me may have for me.
I am 39. I have been dating
Story time on how I contracted herpes while I get ready for class. And just to be clear, this isn't a video to bash anyone, to point the finger. This is just my personal experience with having it. And I just want to get on here and share that with you guys because a lot of you have been asking me. So I'm just going to give a story time about it. And just so you know, my mirror is behind the camera. So if I'm close up on the video, that's why. Alright, so now the moment that you guys been waiting for, how I contracted herpes. Now I'm going to start with plucking my eyebrows because I personally think it looks better than to have like the little hairs under it. But let's give this person a name. We're going to go with Naya since that's a common name too. But how this started, me and Naya met at a event. At the time, I was working for this security company, and we were working for the Phillies. We're doing security at the Phillies.
Okay, hey y'all. So I want to talk to you guys about something today. So I recently put out a mini series of how I got contracted with herpes at 14, and today I want to go.
I'm coming, y'all. I'm coming, I'm coming, I'm coming.
Hey Squirrel. Hey guys. So I actually want to share a little bit of my testimony today. I just feel called to. I feel called to share a very small, okay? Because with my testimony goes, it's very fucking long. It's very fucking lengthy, okay? Y'all are not ready, but I do want to share a little part of my testimony, okay? Now, some of you all may know a little part of. Some of you all may know this story because I used to be on YouTube heavily. So I've moved over to TikTok now, and I just want to share a bit of my story with you guys. So when I was about 14 years old, I was in high school. I think I was in the 10th grade, and I had this boyfriend. You know, thou shalt not say anyone's names. I'm not gonna say his name. Let's just call him James. But I had a boyfriend in high school when I was 14, and I loved him, or so I thought I did. And we were doing things that couples do, right? And I just remember one day, this was back when I was 14. I was going to high school in Staten Island, and I was living with my uncle, my mother's little brother, and it was me, my uncle, and his daughter, his youngest daughter, all living in the house or whatever. And I just started having symptoms. Like I started having some sort of symptoms, within myself. Like I started feeling really, like, how could I describe it? Like I couldn't use the bathroom. Plain and simple. That's just the truth. I couldn't use the bathroom, y'all. So I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like I can't pee. And I decided after like the third day of not being able to pee, like I could pee, but only like drops would come out. So, and I was so afraid to talk to my uncle, because I never really seen my uncle angry, because I didn't live with him for a lot of time in my life, you know. I lived with him for a very small amount of time in my life. So I didn't know how he was going to react. And also, I'm 14. I didn't even know what the hell was going on with me. So, y'all, I told my cousin, my little cousin, she's like a few years younger than me. God bless her, because she really encouraged me to tell her father, my uncle. She was like, I told her what was going on with me, and she was like, hey, Squirrel. Hey. She was like, that's significant. That is very significant. Y'all need to look up the meaning of a squirrel. Look up the meaning of a squirrel. The spiritual meaning of a squirrel. Maybe that's, maybe it is a, ooh. Please, please, please. I don't have nothing, please. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. That squirrel just scared me. I wasn't scared at first, but he started, like, he was attracted to me. I don't have any nuts or anything, so, and I can't pet him. Can you pet a squirrel? I don't know. But, I don't know. Anyway, what was I saying? So, okay, so I told my little cousin, I was like, let's call her Brittany. So I was like, Brittany, you know, I'm having these symptoms. Like, I think something's wrong with me. I can't use the bathroom. And she was like, what? She was like, let me see, you know, try to use the bathroom. So I tried to use the bathroom, y'all, and I was screaming. I was like, I can't do it. And she was like, you have to tell my dad, like, that you're not feeling well. So he came home from work, my uncle, he came home from work, and I was like, Uncle, I gotta tell you something. And he was like, what's up? He was like, what's up, Niecy, you know? And I was like, I can't use the bathroom. Like, I'm trying to use the bathroom, and it's very painful. Only a little bit is coming out. So he was like, what? He was like, He was like, you gotta go. Y'all, he immediately packed my shit. First of all, he called my sister, my older sister. He called my aunt, his older sister. And he called them, and he was like, yeah, Raya, I don't know what's up with Raya. Oh, fuck. Well, there you have it. Yes, that's the fucking name. But yeah, he was like, I don't know what's wrong with Raya. She's saying she can't use the bathroom, and I'm not dealing with this shit, so I'm packing her stuff up right now. We about to get in the car, and I'm dropping her off. So that's what he did. Packed my shit up and drove me all the way to meet my sister at the Coney Island train station. He said, oh, I'm going to drop your stuff off at your aunt's house. So my bag stayed in the car, but I went with my sister. We got on the train. I want you to really hear all this shit that I'm saying. We got on the train. I'm in pain. Why didn't they just take me to the nearest hospital? I don't fucking know. I don't know. But drove from Staten Island to Coney Island train station. Get on a train with my sister. For my sister to take me to a hospital where she was living at the time, which was in Bed-Stuy, because they didn't want anybody to know my business. Because they didn't want anyone to know my business where I'm from. Okay. Now, let's keep going. So we get to the hospital. Of course, we're in the waiting room, and I have to pee, but I can't. Only little drops are coming out. So they gave me my sister told them, like, oh, my sister's having these symptoms or whatever. She needs to see a doctor ASAP. And so they're like, okay, here, take the little pee cup, whatever, go pee, because we need to get some urine so we can see what's going on. I went in that bathroom. Everybody in that waiting room heard me screaming. There was little babies in there because I think we was in the pediatric side. Yeah, because I was 14, so we went to the pediatric side. But there was little babies in there and stuff like that, and I was just very fucking embarrassed. You know, I was in pain. I was embarrassed. I was angry. My uncle kicking me out at 14. Like, so I tried to pee in the bathroom, and a few drops came out, right? Same shit that was happening, you know. So I did get a few drops or whatever. My sister's like, she's telling them, look, she's like, my sister cannot pee, you know, so y'all gonna just have to check her and see what's wrong with her. So they checked me in the room, and yeah, they checked me in the room, and he looked right at my vagina, and he was like, you have herpes. I was distraught. I immediately started crying. I was depressed. Like it was a very low time for me in my life, you know. Where I thought things couldn't get lower for me, they actually got so very low, you know. Lost my mother at 6 years old from breast cancer. Didn't have a real stable father figure in my life. I mean, I had cousins and uncles and stuff, you know. I had my papa. But none of them was stable, you know. They had their lives too. They had to work, and they had girlfriends and this and that, and they have their own lives, you know. So I had many male figures in my life, but I never had just a stable male figure, except the Most High God, you know. And God always has a plan for our lives, y'all. Regardless if we can't see it now, you will someday see it. And you know, I just want to tell you a little bit. I'm gonna have to do a part 2, 3, and all that. But just know that once they told me what it was, they gave me medication. They put me on bed rest. I had to stay out of school for a few weeks. Like, it was bad because I waited 3 days to say anything about my symptoms. So it was very bad. So I was depressed. I was in a very low place, and my aunt, she gave me all the time I needed. You know, she put me on bed rest, she took care of me, and she helped me find my joy again, you know? So I'm gonna have to do a part 2. Okay, let me do part 2. And I actually forgot. I forgot a very important part. My uncle did not just drop me off. Well, he did do that. Okay, I'm not gonna say he did not do that. But there's something that I forgot to tell y'all what he did before he dropped me off to my sister at the train station. He asked me, do I know who did this to me? And I said, yes, my boyfriend, James. And he's like, you know where he lives? I was like, yeah, he lives right by my school. So he was like, okay, we're gonna stop over there. So I forgot. Oh God, I'm so itchy. I'm getting bit up. Woo! So we pulled up at, hi, Chick Chick. You want to see my water? It's just my ice water. So, we actually pulled up at James' house. He was banging on the door. Is your father home? I want to speak to your father. And he started talking to James' father. He's like, yo, your son gave my niece something or whatever, you know? And they didn't want to hear it, you know. His family denied it. They didn't want to hear it. And I think that's very fucking disgusting. You know that your child has some sort of, you know, problem or whatever, and you're gonna deny it when shit hits the fan, and when you really should be owning up to that shit. They denied it. They are just the type of family, I guess, that they gonna take shit to the grave. So for a long time, you know, because all this stuff has happened to me, as far as when I was 14, for a long time, y'all, I pushed it down, deep down inside of me, you know. It was very hard for me to accept the fact that I do have herpes, you know. But at this big age, I don't care anymore, you know. I just want to be free. And if you can't love me for who I am, I don't want you anyway. Because the love is not real. It's not authentic, you know. But just to continue, because we'll get there. I'm going to have to keep doing parts, whatever, because TikTok only gives 10 minutes the most. But I see a white butterfly. You guys should look that up, too. Maybe that's significant for you. Look up the spiritual meaning of a white butterfly. So, yeah, so fast forward to where we were at. So now I have herpes. I'm 14. I'm back at my aunt's house. And, you know, I'm on bed rest. And she's just making sure I'm good, checking in on me and stuff like that. But she allowed me to go through what I needed to go through by myself, you know. And I guess and you know what? I was never really by myself. God helped me heal when I was 14 and going through all. God was literally with me and my angels and ancestors, you know, and I just didn't know it. I just didn't know it. But yeah, I was in my room every day, just resting, taking my medicine, drinking water, eating, and things like that. And how my aunt helped me find my joy again when I was 14 is because she started to worry about me, you know. She started to worry about me being cramped up in that room and not coming out, just sitting there watching the Kardashians and shit in the AC. So she came in and she like, Mama Sutta. She like, you don't want to go outside? I think you should start going outside and stuff again, you know. I see you feeling better, and you know. And I was like, no, I don't want to go outside because I think I was depressed, you know. I think I was very depressed. So I don't know who told my friends to pull up to my aunt's house, but 3 of my friends pulled up, knocking on the door, and they said to my aunt, they said, Miss Susie, can Raya come outside and play? Is Raya okay? Can we see her and speak to her? We haven't seen her in a while. And she called me and she was like, Raya, your friends are here. And, you know, they were just worried about me, you know, but even still in that moment, I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell my friends. A lot of my friends never knew that I had herpes growing up because I just kept it hidden. There was one friend that I considered her like one of the closest friends to me in my childhood. And I did tell her, and I made her make a promise not to tell anyone. I don't know if she's ever kept it. I don't fucking know. But I don't even care anymore. But yeah, they came and they were like, you want to go outside? And, you know, they just was hyping me up and trying to encourage me to, come on, come outside. Like, we miss you. Where you been? Whatever. And I just was like, I just been in the house chilling. But, girl, I'm in the house healing. I'm in the house getting better. Okay? Trying to understand why me. If he knew that he had herpes, why wouldn't you tell me? Those were my thoughts at 14, you know? Why me? So I went outside and I just continued to live my life like everything was normal. In denial. I was living in denial, you know, with the fact that I had herpes. So I was always afraid to speak that truth, you know? It really had me in a chokehold. I would get into relationships and not tell. I wouldn't tell my friends. I would get angry if my family brought it up. Like, I just wanted to forget about it. A part of me wanted God to heal me so much that he take the herpes away. Yes. But unfortunately, that's just not how life works, right? We make decisions and we have to deal with the repercussions of it. So me dealing with herpes since I was 14 years old, it has been a very hard, learning, loving it's a very unique journey for me. You know, sometimes I would speak the truth. Sometimes I'll tell the truth about the fact that I have herpes, and sometimes I wouldn't. You know, because when you have herpes, like, this world judges people. Judges us to the fullest capacity. Oh, you have this. Look at your hair. Look at your nose. Look at her lips. Look at her teeth. Look at her fupa. Look at her ass. Look at, like, oh, look at her skin. Look at this. So on top of that, you gotta say, oh, I have herpes. Another fucking flaw on the table. So it's hard, you know, but I'm at a point where I think I am finally, after how long has it been? Hold on, because I don't want to tell y'all my... It's been more than a decade now, and I just want to be free. And, you know, this can go for any of you all out there. If you're dealing with anything, a mental illness, a STD, whatever it is, you know, we all go through shit. I don't know why people walk this earth pretending that they're perfect. Nobody's perfect except the Most High God. We are all dealing with shit. So we have to heal. Start a spiritual journey so you can heal, so you can become one with yourself and finally accept yourself for who you are. Because you have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. People will come and go. People die. People leave. Like, things happen. But in the end, you have to be okay with yourself. So, I just want you all to be strong. Like, having herpes does not mean that you're disgusting or you're dirty or you're unlovable or you're not worthy. This world wants you to be depressed because you have herpes. So yeah, part 3. You know, I truly do believe that if only people would just come out and live their truths. Live your truth. The only way from your truth is not down. It's up. God loves people that lives in their truth. God loves people that are confirmation. God loves people that are not afraid to stand in their testimony, because if he brought you to it, he'll bring you through it. It's not the end of your journey. This is not the end of your life. You are so much more than your status. I don't care what status that is. Single mother, currently living in poverty, you got herpes, you got bipolar, I don't fucking know. AIDS, HIV, listen. We all have a testimony. And we have to stand in it. You have to tell your stories of how God brought you through it, because somebody out there needs to hear your story. Somebody out there is hanging onto a fucking thread right now, trying to stay strong, asking God, why me? Going through the same shit you went through. So don't be afraid to tell your story. It's powerful to tell your story. Your story can help someone years and years and years to come after you are gone. Because see, what people don't understand about this world is that there will always be negative entities fighting against you, trying to keep you down, trying to keep you small, trying to keep you scared. And right now, the devil is shaking in his fucking boots right now that I'm telling my fucking story. He is shaking in his fucking boots. Because the devil does not want you to rise above your struggles. The devil don't want you to be better. You sitting there scared and shaking in your boots. I can't tell my truth. The world is gonna judge me. The devil is sitting there flapping like this. Pass me the motherfucking popcorn. This shit is good. He love all that shit. But when you take a stand for your motherfucking self, take a stand for God. Tell your truth. It's okay. Yes. People will decide that they don't want to fuck with you no more. That they don't want to love you. And that's okay. Those people are not meant to be in your life. I remember somebody told me this. A very special person in my heart told me this one day. They said, Raya, you don't have to be afraid to tell someone that you have herpes. You're a great person. There are people out there that will love you. But I didn't listen. I was still in low vibrational energy. And I'm real enough to admit that shit. I just want you guys to find the strength, find the courage to live in your truth. Tell your truth. It's okay. We all need to hear each other's stories. Sometimes you can be in so much pain. When you have gone through traumatic things in your life, y'all, what happens is you can push it very deep down inside you to the point where you become delusional. You will become delusional and pretend as if these things didn't happen. But we need to stop living like that. Let's stop being delusional. Live in your truth, you know? Whatever your story is, whatever happened to you, God has used it to make you stronger, you know? And if you don't think so, I'm going to ask you this. Are you still here today? Are you watching this video right now? So, here's your answer. You're still here. You're still strong. You're still great. You still have many opportunities here to rise above your struggles and rise above the negative energies that are trying to keep you down. I just want to be better. You know? We all make mistakes in this life. And I can admit when I fucked up. And I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. To anybody that I've ever hurt. I'm so sorry. Like, I pray that anybody that I hurt can find it in their hearts to forgive me and know that if someone Okay. Hey y'all. So I want to talk to you guys about something today. So I recently put out a mini series of how I got contracted with herpes at 14. And today I want to go even further. Okay? I want to go a bit deeper, okay? So get your popcorn and get your little chips, get your cup of water. Okay, now let's get into it. So this was, I don't even know how many years ago, but this was when I was living in Manhattan. And my daughter was like 3. She was like 3. So I was trying to meet new people. Okay, I was trying to meet new people, so I put an ad online or whatever. And I met this guy. His name is, let's say his name is Brandon, I don't want to put nobody's name out there. I try not to. Sometimes it comes out. But I met this guy named Brandon, and we just instantly hit it off. We were both attracted to each other. We had great chemistry. The conversation was amazing. And he was really sweet to me. He would give me money. Like, I remember I was struggling so fucking bad. And I remember Brandon, he paid for my phone to get put back on because I was struggling. It was bad. He paid for my phone to get back on, and then I also wanted to get my hair done, so he was like, look, here, go take this money, go get your hair done. He was so nice, y'all. And I'm such a hopeless romantic. I literally be thinking everybody I meet is the love of my life, but no. God said no. So, we were being intimate one day, and you know how guys can be. Guys are like, oh, it's so good, I want to take the condom off. And I just froze. We're in the middle of intimacy. And I froze, and I didn't tell him, hey, let's keep the condom on because I have herpes. I just let him insert me unprotected, and I am such a good, genuine person at heart that when I do somebody dirty, it actually hurts because I know that my heart is not set up that way. My heart is not set up to fuck somebody over just for the hell of it, But yeah, I really froze, y'all. And I felt so bad. Like, it was eating me up inside. And we still hanging out, we still kicking it. Like, he was so good to my daughter. Like, he never did anything, wrong to my daughter. Like, he was a very, very sweet person, y'all. He was. And it just was on my conscience to tell him the truth. So, I sat him down and I ended up telling him what happened. And things got really fucking crazy. Like, he was so mad at me, as anyone should, because I made a life-altering decision over someone's life when I knew better. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is yeah, I knew better, but the way this world treats people with herpes is fucked up. They judge you, they belittle you, they look down on you like you ain't shit because something happened to you, and now this is the story of your life. This is what you have to deal with. No one person is better than the next. Like, people out there that don't have any STDs and you squeaky clean, that does not mean that you're better than someone because you don't have herpes, you don't have an STD. Nobody is better than nobody. We all out here are battling some shit. Some of y'all are battling mental health. Some of y'all battling lupus, fucking acne. I don't know, you know. The point is, y'all, is that this world, like, we have to stop judging each other for the experiences that we all have gone through, because if we don't, do you understand that things will just continue to go on and on and on? Someone will contract someone with herpes, and then that person is afraid to tell, and they're afraid of the stigma, so then they'll pass it on to someone else, and it'll go on and on and on. I don't think y'all understand that, you know. So I always go before God and I repent for my sins. I always own up to the shit that I've done. And to even go a little further, Brandon actually whooped my ass. Yes, I don't think did I ever tell y'all this story? For some of y'all know me from YouTube. I don't know if I ever told y'all this story. Did I tell y'all this? But for those of y'all that are new here, yeah, so he went to go take a walk or whatever. He left my apartment. He went to go take a walk to cool down and stuff like that. And then when he came back, I was rushing out to go get my daughter from school. And he felt like I was just rushing it off. Like, he felt like I didn't actually care about what I did. And I did, but I had to go get my daughter. You see what I'm saying? Let me get my daughter, and I come back, we can continue the conversation. But he didn't want to hear it. And I went to run down the stairs. I went in the staircase, and I was trying to go get my daughter, run down the stairs. And y'all, he whooped my ass. He did. He was punching me in my head. Bang, 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 bang. I was just on the floor, like, trying to cover my face, because, like, you know, I don't play about my face. So he was kicking me, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I'm like, it's me. It's me, because I feel like he blacked out. Like, I don't think he actually was seeing me for truly who I was. I feel like he blacked out, you know, because he was angry. He was in a rage. And, you know, so I had to get myself together, stop crying and all this, and I had to walk into my daughter's school and pick my daughter up. And luckily I cleaned myself up real quick, you know, so nobody suspected that I was crying or anything, that I just had a fight or anything. Well, not a fight, I had got my ass whooped. But, oh, and then when he was beating me up, I had dropped my phone and my keys. He took my phone and my keys, y'all, and he just, like, dipped off. So I didn't have my phone, I didn't have my keys, and I went to go get my daughter. And when I went to pick up my daughter, you know, I was a little, you know, I'm pretty sure she was sensing that something was wrong with me, because your children know. So what I did was, I ended up waiting until I seen him. Well, I actually called the police. I think I had asked somebody, can I use their phone? And then I called the police, and the police came. I told them what happened. And I had seen him. They were looking for him, but they couldn't find him. And then when they left, he actually, I think that's when he pulled up, when they left. And I was like, can I have my stuff? Like, you cannot hold my stuff. Like, he's like, I paid for your phone to get on, fuck out of here, da, da, da. You know, he was really mad, you know, and I understand. I truly do, you know. I should have done better, you know, because I knew better, but I froze. Because when you have herpes, it comes with that fucking stigma, you know, that you dirty and you promiscuous and you ain't worthy and nobody will never love you. And that's simply not the truth. That's just these words that this world speaks. This world wants you to feel worthless. They want you to feel disgusting and dirty because someone burnt you. So now you have to live with that. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up. But I want to encourage somebody out there to do the right thing. Somebody out there, or that will come across this video, has herpes. And you have been living in shame. You have been living in the shadows. God is calling you out to live in your truth. Don't you want to be free? If they
All right, part 2. So now that we, I've told my piece. Now I want to talk about how, don't you guys see that as many celebrities we have on this earth, no one talks about having herpes. And they got them. Plenty celebrities have herpes. One being NBA YoungBoy. I think they said also that Derek Jeter got it. So many fucking people have herpes, y'all. If you think you were the only one walking around here with herpes, you fucking, something is wrong with you. There's some people in your family that have herpes. There's some people in your friend group that have herpes. There's some people that you watch online, podcasts, fucking TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, that have herpes. Some of the fucking world's richest motherfuckers have herpes. Billionaires, millionaires. Are you fucking athletes? If y'all really think, woo child, if y'all really think that because you're just this regular person here walking on earth and you have herpes and the world shapes people with herpes and wants you to feel bad and low of yourself and they want you to feel like shit and unworthy and nobody's gonna love me because I have herpes. If you really think you're the only one out here with herpes, don't even do it to yourself. Don't think of yourself like that. You think that God will put you on this earth and allow you to go through a situation where you have contracted herpes, and you think that you're the only one on this earth with herpes. Well, I'm telling you today that I have herpes. I got diagnosed with herpes at 14 years old, and no, I was not dirty. I was not promiscuous. I was 14. I was 14. Prior to my high school sweetheart, I only had sex with one guy, which was the guy that took my virginity. So this second guy that I had sex with in high school, my high school sweetheart, gave me herpes. Unknowingly too. Like I'm thinking like we in young love and we got this puppy love and we got this high school love and this is my boyfriend and and the whole time he was hiding a deep dark secret. The fact that he had herpes. And because he didn't tell me, that shit hurt me so bad that for years, y'all, for years, I hid in the shadows. I didn't want to be free. I was hiding a very deep, dark secret in the shadows because this world shames people with herpes. This world tells you no one is going to love you. People are going to judge you. You ain't shit. You ain't worthy. You will never have shit. You will never be shit. And that's simply not the truth. See, I really need you guys to start a spiritual journey. I really do. Because when you start a spiritual journey, you will truly learn. Okay? God will give you the strength and the confidence to love yourself for truly who you are. And when you get to that point in your life, I pray y'all get there. So when you do get there, you will start to understand everything and everything will make sense, You're not worthless. You just went through an experience and this is the outcome. But you need to own that shit. Stand up and be who the fuck God made you to be. God wants you to stand up and help someone else out in the world that's going through the same thing that you went through. There's somebody right now being diagnosed with herpes because somebody didn't tell them. There's somebody right now that's about to have sex with somebody who has herpes because they're afraid to share their truth. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? If you continue to live in the shadows, then your children will get herpes. Your children's children would get herpes.
the cycle will only continue to continue, y'all. We have to do better. So I'll be the first one to take a stand on the front line. Yes, when I was 14, I was diagnosed with herpes. Some people may know, some people knew I had herpes because I could feel their energy. And I knew that, oh, I can tell this person, this person is not going to judge me. I'm in a safe place. And I would tell. And guess what? Those people wouldn't judge me. They would still love me. They would still be there. But then there would be some people that I would come across in my life where I can sense that this person is going to judge me. This person is not going to continue to love me. This person is not going to want to have sex with me. So you hide a very deep, dark secret. And it is only hurting yourself. In fact, it is also hurting God. Because if God allowed you to go to something, and then he brought you through something, and you are still here today, breathing, thriving, and living a good fucking life, being blessed, what makes you think that God that he will not bless you because you decide to finally stand up for yourself, tell your testimony, and live in your truth? God loves that shit. God loves anybody who is brave enough, strong enough, and ready to stand up in the midst of the fight. See, because the devil does not want you to tell the truth. When you're sitting there and you're crying, you're at home and you're crying, they're not gonna love me because I have herpes. God is looking at you and God is saying, my child, stand the fuck up. Stand the fuck up. If I brought you through it, there's nothing else nobody else can do. Stand up, y'all. Tell your story. Tell your testimony. Because if you don't, what you're doing, you are letting the people who hurt you, right? And the things that has hurt you, you are letting that shit keep you in a chokehold. Like, you think you free because you out smoking, you out drinking, you partying and shit. You think you free. You're not free, sweetheart. You are still living in the shadows in your heart. You're living in the shadows. If you can't be truly who you are, truly who God made you to be, are you really living? Ask yourself that. You're not living. True bliss is living a life of truth, honesty, authenticity, bravery, faithfully, purposely. God needs y'all to stand up. Because I'm telling you, man, you have generations coming up behind you. Your younger siblings, your children, your nieces and nephews, and so on and so forth. Because we are a people that will continue to reproduce. So that means your bloodline will continue to go on. And what you don't fix, you leave in to your bloodline to fix. Those that are gonna come after you, your siblings, your nieces and nephews and cousins and your kids, like, fix it, y'all. Stand up and just be real. God will bless the fuck out of you when you tell this world how he has continued to keep you and love you and bless you despite of the adversity, despite of the struggles, despite of the pain, despite of the many people that have come up against you, judged you like they better than you. Don't let nobody put no fucking fear in your heart except for the Most High God. Everything else is irrelevant. I love y'all and I hope this helped, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
All right, part